Okay, welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. Steve here at Bairnt.
Steve, I'm here. It's good to be here. Oh, more co-op chat, more excitement, more fun, more, I don't know, us just messing around.
That's right. Love these mornings. So, yes, good morning, Snow. Welcome. Or good afternoon today to you. Thank you for joining.
True.
One quick note: if you're joining us on the live chat, we recently did turn on subscriber only chat. The reason for that was to stop those bots from posting in our live chat. So, uh, if you don't like it, I apologize, but you can always subscribe, send your message, unsubscribe. There's no issue there. So, but just trying to get rid of some of those bots. So,
Get the bots out.
that's right. Yeah, it's annoying to manually remove. But hey, we're welcome. If you're first time joining, this is our weekly cooperative game chat where we have a discussion topic. We'll briefly talk about some news and then jump into the chat. The chat today is talk about content creators we like to watch. So,
Yeah,
Baird and I will talk about some channels that we watch, and if you guys have some, we'll pull them up on the fly too. Okay, should we jump into news? Let's do it.
sure. Jump away, man. Get on your diving board.
Okay.
Take the plunge.
I'll mention the game. There's really only one game I have going to launch. This is I'm doing cooperative focus games, of course. Purple Haze is dropping on GameFound this Tuesday. It is a fully cooperative, it's kind of interesting game to describe. It looks like it's a tactical war game, but a campaign game as well. So it's in the Vietnam era, and you will be going on these campaign stories where you will, as you progress through it, the soldiers will um, level up in a sense, and it seems like they get better skills, but they also will suffer injuries, both physical and mental. So this may be more if you're worried about like more of the realism on war. This is looking like it leans a little bit towards that direction, but it is fully cooperative and looks pretty cool. So that is Purple Haze. The only other game I mentioned, and it's because we were talking about it in our Discord channel this morning. So if you're not part of that, feel free to join. It is free to join. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to subscribe or do anything with that. But it is. Pull it up here. Everybody Lies. This is a new game from Portal, based upon the detective series. I know, Baron, you really like the detective series.
I do. I'm a huge fan of the detective series. They are super, super good. My wife and I and we have another couple that plays with us. And we actually have like the whole murder board. And we have like the strings going around, and we like, put all the things up there with magnets and everything. It's really, really cool. We go way out, and we actually we do very good actually at getting through the crimes. We're actually pretty impressed with how well we do. Even though sometimes in those games you're not sure if you're really going down the right track, but in the end, we actually did pretty good in almost every one of them.
Oh, Robin's looking at likes this looks at this one too. So, so
There we go. See, that means it's an automatic buy. That's the deal there.
yeah, I'm curious
I'll,
to
I'll
think of
probably
this one.
pre-order that one. Whenever Portal Games does new detective stuff and you pre-order it, they usually do some kind of little bonus thing for
Mhm.
it, which isn't needed at all. It's all cosmetic. It was kind of interesting because when they did the, oh, which one was it? The '80s one. I forget what it's called, but they did one for the '80s. It
Mhm.
actually came instead of opening the book and like reading the dossier, they actually had like a dot matrix printout that was on like the old printer that actually did the rolling or whatever. They had the little spools on it. It was really cool.
That's cool. But yeah, this one is based in the DC universe. So you are not playing as Batman, but it sounds like you're working with Batman, and you'll be playing as some of the classic like DC characters. And one of them you can play as is Catwoman.
Oh,
And one of the twist to this game is sounds like you will have a hidden role or hidden not hidden role, hidden agenda. It's something you have to do to win the game. I'm not sure if this means it's going to be in the semi co-op area or if it's something like Gloomhaven-ish, where you've got those hidden roles as well. But you have something else you'll be doing that's going to tie into the character, and like one of the characters could be like Catwoman, for example. But yeah, you'll be playing through a mystery adventure, just like the original Detective. And the game, you have to answer some questions, see how well you did. And I think they're supposed to also have something new where it ties some illustrations that tie into the comic series, so maybe
hmm.
some comic pages that describe it.
Sounds pretty cool, Steve. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out, though. Come on, Portal Games. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We don't need a semi-co-op mystery game. Come on.
Yeah, I know Snow's mentioned the same thing too. If you're not familiar with our Discord, we are not fans of semi co-op because like come on, you're so close to co-op. Just keep it co-op. That's what we want. So
This guy is okay with semi-co-op most of the time, but I don't know. Maybe not in a detective game where you're trying to find a murderer or stop a crime. Last time
yeah,
I checked, the two detectives that are working on the case together are like, oh, okay, well, we should check that. You know what? I'm going to go over here because I have to, and you just go over there.
yeah, that seems a little weird. I'm curious how that's gonna work. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep, as it gets closer along.
Marcel was mentioning you're wearing the shirt, the jersey, which I have mine right here. I just don't put it on. I probably should. But
Yes, I've
yes,
got my one-stop co-op shop jersey. For those of you that notice, I actually wear it on every stream.
you do. Yep.
I do.
I am bad, and I haven't been.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
know you are.
I don't know what's wrong
You're
with me.
terrible.
There's a lot of things wrong with me. Let's put that
We
way.
invest in these things, Steve, to make us look great, so people know who we are. Not that it helps because I cover. I'm actually usually from torso up.
I know, just a head.
most of the time.
Okay, excellent. But yeah, that's all the news we're gonna talk about today. Let's jump into the fun chat. Talk
Oh, we got
about
fun.
the Bairnt is company man.
I am a
Yes.
company man. I
Yeah.
do it. I'm doing it told. Come when I'm supposed to. Steve says 8 o'clock. I'm here at 8 o'clock.
It's true. It's true. So
So we do have a good chat though this morning, Steve. I'm pretty excited about this one because
yeah,
I'm
me
hoping
too.
that people, after they get done with this, can actually go and check out some of the people that we're going to talk about because I've been watching streams for a long time. Um, I'm excited to talk about the people that we've like grew up with and the people that are new and out there that are really doing a great job and fun to watch. Um, I'm going to start this off just by saying that if you know anything about gaming, you've watched any live streams, a lot of times you'll know the names such as Rodney Smith, Adam Smith, and Rado. Those three are probably three of the big guys when it comes to playthrough type concepts on these games. So we're not really going to touch much on their channels. I want to touch more on kind of some of the channels that people may not immediately flock to when you're looking for a game video. But those three, I don't want to put anything against them. They do fantastic jobs, and that's one of the reasons they're way up there when it comes to the people that people know when it comes to streaming games. I mean, I've been watching Adam Smith for a long time. Rodney Smith's helped me with so many games, and Rado, when I first started getting into board games to see if I wanted a game, he was the one I usually turned to when I was really young in my career of board games. So those three are really big. But we're gonna probably focus on some that either you don't know about or you've maybe watched a couple things on, and we want you to get back to those people because they think they do a really good job, and that's why we're going to be talking about them.
Definitely. Yeah, I do want to jump to. I'll probably start with maybe a bigger one that you probably may have
Right.
heard of. Or I'm assuming you've heard of.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. And by the way, there are so many content creators out there that we're not going to talk about every one of them. And Steve and I were talking about this, and maybe every once in a while we might talk about a few that come up to the surface that we've maybe been watching over the last like couple weeks or a month or something, and talk about those at the beginning of our co-op chats as part of the news, so you can really get a great wealth of information when it comes to the amount of content creators. So if we don't talk about you, we may talk about you sometimes. And I mean, there's so many out there. We may just not have seen them, and it's going to be exciting to hear some of the ones you have.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll start with one. Probably one of the bigger ones on the list here. If we're looking at live content, this is one of the guys they think does an excellent job when it comes to live streams, and good job describing games too. Gaming Rules. So big fan of his type of content. Very clean. He also does close-up shots in live, which is awesome. Live chats and everything. Big fan of Gaming Rules channel.
No, he does a phenomenal job. I've learned many rules. I actually just got done learning a game because of him. I have a game coming out called Streets by Sinister Fish Games, and of course, right on the bottom here it says Gaming Rules did the video for the rule book. So
yeah, exactly.
He does such a phenomenal job of being able to explain rules and be able to understand how a game is played that it's no wonder he does such a great job out there. He's fantastic, and he does some great playthroughs, some great live stuff. He like is a full rounded big picture guy.
Oh, for sure. Does it all. Big fan of his stuff. Can't recommend enough. Definitely Gaming Rules if you're looking for that type of stuff. Let's jump to one of our local friends next.
Yeah.
So let's jump to Hungry Gamer. This is
Hungry Gamer William. William's my buddy. This is one of those guys that I feel I should have met sometime in my life, and I have not yet because he lives out in California. He's such a cool guy. He's such a down to earth guy. He has a great grasp on not only the games he does, but just on life in general. He is a teacher, so it's really interesting to talk to him about that kind of aspect because my wife is also a teacher. So we talk a little bit about that too. I message him quite a bit. He's a really good guy, a lot of fun, and he does some great videos. He does
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff too, and he's not afraid of a game. He'll almost every time say yes to a game, even though he doesn't really know much about it, or the rule book's kind of shady, or he doesn't have any idea exactly how it's going to play. He still usually takes a crack at it because he loves to try to just experience every type of game, and he does every type of game. Like he does competitive, semi-co-op, worker placement, dungeon crawl, almost everything you can think of. He usually does something for. A lot of the times it's reviews, but he does do those playthroughs too as well. And he's introduced me to a couple games that are fantastic. He was the one who introduced me to Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor. He actually introduced me to that. I'm super glad he did because it's a really fun game. So he and I have been bouncing stuff off each other for a long time. And he and I actually were the first. He was the first person we did a like back and forth video series with. It was really neat. We did. What was the game? Oh, now I'm gonna totally fail on the Dungeon Alliance. He and I did Dungeon Alliance together. And so like I did the first one, then he did the second one, I did the third one, and then he rounded off the 4-part campaign that they had. So it's kind of neat to be able to work back and forth with each other and kind of say, like, I got you these cards. Oh yeah, well I killed off this guy. Like it was super fun. But he's a great guy, he does some great content. If you haven't ever seen any of his work, please go check it out. He does some great top 10s, he does like best of 2021, stuff like that. He does everything. And it's super fun to see him and actually watch his stuff. So please go check that out. I'm probably gonna say please go check that out after every single person I talked to, I bet today.
I'll create a list of all the links to these too, so you guys can go directly to them at the end of this.
Oh, that's a great idea, Steve.
But yeah, Snow mentioned, Action Knight. You did an excellent job. He's a great guy. I love chatting with him. He's really fun to play games with if you get a chance. So I highly recommend playing a game with him. But he does play competitive games, so just FYI, because I know we focus on cooperative, but he does.
we still talk to him though. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hang out with him still. So. And yes, Marcel, he needs to actually eat more games. Otherwise, it's false advertising. So, if you see his intros, he always has a fun graphic of him taking a giant bite of a game box. It's fun. It's a fun little.
It's usually his thumbnails. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually has introduced me to a game called Kuzi Go. I think it's a game from actually Japan, and it's like these little foam blocks, and you have to stick them into these into like a stick. You got to make food and put it out on the table, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fitting to what he's a hungry gamer. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was pretty fun. Cool. Okay, let's keep moving. And if you guys have YouTube channels you guys like watching, drop them down there, and I can pull them up later. We could talk about them as well. So we're just kind of having fun, putting some spotlight on some other great content creators out there. Let's move on to this is one that you kind of introduced me to, Bairnt. Rob's Tabletop World.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So
Rob's Tabletop World. He's awesome. He is an unbelievably friendly guy. He's one of those people that kind of would bend over backwards to kind of be nice and help you out and stuff like that. He reached out to me when I was super small channel and kind of gave me a few pointers and helped me out. We're going to do a game together. It never really worked out, but other than that, he actually has almost a video a day. He always talking live stuff. He's all from the heart. It's a really interesting channel to watch. He does some live plays, of course, which is pretty cool because he's got that chat right along with him, and he's always interacting with his community. He does some great painting tutorial and videos on that. I wish I was as good as what he can do and as fast as he can do it. He's an amazing painter that gets stuff to the table pretty quick. So that was another reason I found him. So he does painting videos, tutorials. He does just off the cuff kind of like live talks. He does a lot of really cool things, usually all centered around board gaming, but he personalizes it, which is really kind of cool. He brings kind of his own life into it sometimes, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I really like his work and everything he puts out. You're right though; he puts out a ton of content, so he blasts it out there. Does a great job.
And he spans all type of genres. I mean, he's got like a whole like series on like RC cars, and I'm like, okay, so I learned about RC cars.
Yeah, and a lot of love on the chat too. Like Marcelo said, Rob is such a wonderful grognard. I love the retro taste and even his rants from time to time. Such passion, which is great guy.
And when you're watching this stuff, he'll always say, "Okay, we're gonna try to do this," and something will happen. He goes, "Not professional. This is not a professional channel." Like he always says that over and over. He's like, "This is not a professional channel," but he always does such a good job. And he has great presence, and he actually has a really good channel. So he very is humble to himself, which is very funny.
Oh, thank Kenchanger. I'll add those. We'll bring those up at the end. Those are good ones, good channels as well. So, and yeah, so I mentioned Rob plays a lot of almost unknown games, which is true.
Hmm.
Like brings up
He's
some.
very retro a lot of the times.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's pretty cool. He's shown me a few things, and he's very out of the box sometimes too, and that's what's kind of cool about him. He even says that too. He's like, "I'm just gonna play what I want to, and then if you want to watch, that's fine." It's
Exactly.
cool.
That's what's happening. That's what's going on. So cool. That is Rob's tabletop world. Let's move on to Colin, but not the Colin you're thinking of, right? Red
Right.
beans and dice.
Right, beans and dice. This guy's awesome. This guy is super funny. He's lives in middle of America, down in I think he's living is in Omaha, I think, or no, it's not Omaha, somewhere down there. He's in the middle of America somewhere. It's pretty awesome. He's a cool guy. He's super funny. He says all these things. As I'm watching him, I'm just laughing out loud a lot of times. He doesn't put out the amount of content I'm hoping he would because he's such a cool guy. He like his last video actually wasn't. It was like a month ago, which is really too bad. But and we all have jobs, we all have lives, we all have things going on. So sometimes, I mean, there's been times when I've had to just be like, take the foot off the gas for a little while because I got to do family stuff and just work on stuff for myself. So
Hmm.
everybody goes through those periods. Everybody does things like that. But this guy's super funny. He does some great stuff, and he really does some neat in-depth look at games too. He went through like every Nemesis character and talked about their strengths and weaknesses. He did a whole big thing about like how to put how he stores different games and things like that, which or does he do storage? No, I was talking about painting. He does some of the painting stuff for things and how he did it, which he does a really good job of. He used to play War. He plays Warhammer actually. He still does. I used to play Warhammer. I don't anymore. He used to play Warhammer, or he still plays Warhammer, and he was showing me some of his guys he was painting. He's playing the. I, I don't remember the actual name of the group. I just know the lizard men type people that had ride on the dinosaurs. I sadly don't remember. I've fallen out of Warhammer stuff. I still have it all back there, way around the corner. It'll never leave because it's so hard to get rid of something you've worked so hard to paint and assemble that. But I just haven't time painting it or played it anymore. But Colin, back to Colin. Colin's awesome. Go check him out. He's fan. He does a lot of fun things and he's super funny. It was he actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you check out this intro, see if it's any good?" And I was like, "Okay." And it was super hilarious. If you watch his Arkham Horror stuff at the very beginning, one of the few first things he did this big, huge intro for Arkham Horror. And it was like him with like this spyglass running around. It was really funny. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
He
That is
almost
awesome.
made me want to step up my game to do something like that.
Oh, for sure. Let's jump back to another local friend. I say local because they're on our Discord, very active. Who's this? Purple Moose Plays. So does an awesome job with a lot of great. He does a lot of great solo content for sure. So and I got called out, but I love his avatar. I think is a picture of his kid drew it, I believe. So
That's amazing. I did not know that fact.
I think so. I'm not positive on that one. I should ask him sometime. But yes, great content there. If you look, especially look for solo stuff. Hey, I know that guy. He has a lot to for my channel. Like, hey, yes, yes. Okay, let's keep moving on. Let's jump to yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good comments here. Let's jump to another local friend of ours, Beyond Solitaire, Liz. So
Mm-hmm.
she's all over the place. She does a lot of work, so
Yeah.
for sure.
He does a lot of different things and touches on a lot of different
Hmm.
subjects. Here we go with another theme of the content creators when it comes to board games. We have another teacher here as well.
Hmm.
This is a teacher, which is pretty cool. Again, my wife's teacher, so it's neat to be able to relate with those kind of things. But I don't know. Mike's a teacher. Teachers must really love to teach things when it comes to their lifestyle. So they're teaching games when they're not teaching kids.
Liz is also pretty unique though that she focuses on these historical aspects, like not like getting to the really nuance and depth on like the theme of it and how it ties into the game. Does a fantastic job on some stuff. So if you like that type of content, definitely check her out. She's an awesome person. Highly recommend her channel for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing how she can do that. She can take a game and then make you understand what this game really is
Hmm.
and really understand how that is. And not to mention, she's one of the people that taught me how to play Mage Knight. She's got a great Mage Knight tutorial out there. Pretty cool.
That was a good tutorial for
So
sure.
yeah, if you're looking for kind of the history behind a game, like maybe a Roman game or something, and what's going on and why certain cards are coming out that do things, she has a really good job of explaining it based actually rooted in the actual history of the games that you're playing, which is pretty cool. Now, sadly, that we're not going to get too much from her history when it comes to like sci-fi stuff, like Nemesis, things like that. But
True. I'm going to throw a random transition into here because we're
sure.
live. Instead of talking about game specific, well, he talked about game specific as well a little bit, but Shelf Clutter is one that I highly recommend if you're looking for upcoming news of games. It's one of my primary sources. Adam there is awesome guy. He runs probably the best Discord server I've encountered. It is amazing. In fact, just you should I should drop a link to go check it out because not only does it a wealth of information on upcoming games, but also you can actually play Pokemon in his Discord server. It's hilarious. So he's got command to type and throw Pokeballs and stuff in it. I'm not sure how he did it all, but really awesome stuff. He does a weekly video covering upcoming Kickstarters and crowdfunding games. So big fan of Shelf Clutter. If you guys want looking for new stuff out there. So yeah, that's a really good resource, I'd say. Let's go to one of the OGs I like to think of. So he's been on YouTube for a long time. Used to be Doug Herring, but now
Oh,
he's changed his name
yes.
to Mystic Eye Games.
It is Mystic Eye Games. He is actually now working with he has actually formed a group. It's him and another person now working together. And they do some fantastic stuff. He's one of those people that when I started the channel, of course, he's one of the reasons I did it. And because I'd been watching his stuff for so long, he's been doing such a great job for so long. He's been doing this. This is one of those people when you talk about board games, you talk about playthroughs, his name usually always comes up because he's done something you've played. Is usually what happens because he's just been doing this for so long. If you could ever put like a ring of like honor on like in a stadium for board gamers, his name would definitely be there for just how much he's given to this community when it comes to the amount of games and
Yeah,
things that he's played. He's done a great job. It's just so cool. Yeah, he lives down in Dallas or down in Texas. I don't know if it's Dallas, but he lives down in Texas. Every once in a while I try to get a game together with him, but the most of the time it doesn't work out. He does do a lot with his family and so he's really pretty busy with his family and his life in general. So he gets a lot of time to play games for the channel, but I haven't really had a chance to do much with him outside of it, which is really too bad. He does usually go on a lot of those big like events, like he'll do like Board Game Geek, the cruise he does a lot, which is kind of cool. So you can meet up with a lot of people there. He actually tells me a story about how when they did it one year, his goal was to get through Kingdom Death Monster, and so he and like the group sat down and like played it all like the time they're on the cruise, and or like, and he does stuff like that for other conventions as well. He's going to get together and they play games, which is pretty cool. So yes, Doug Herring is definitely got to be a fan favorite, if not an inspiration to people. I mean,
yeah,
he's probably been doing it longer, and I can't think of a lot of other people. I mean, there's a few when I started that probably been doing about that, but he's been there for a while. He's been doing some good jobs, and he
yeah,
does a lot of weird, neat games which I wouldn't have normally played, and I picked him up because of him sometimes.
yeah, for sure. Great content creator. Marcel had an interesting question here. It says, "How important do you feel is that a content creator has a specific angle, or you just watch for the presenter regardless?" I think that's a good question. I think I watch for their presentation style. I would say, and honestly, the content to a degree too. Like some people I watch due to the content, and some of them I like because of how they frame it and how they bring up the community and engage and present information. So I do a little bit of both on that side. Uh, you, I don't know about you, Baron, on how you would answer that question. If it's do they need a specific angle for you, or do you watch for the presenter regardless?
Um, I watch. I'm not looking for an angle. I'm not looking for a way of presentation because a lot of times I'm looking at what the game is, and
Sure.
it helps a lot if the content creator is just engaging and fun to be with. But I will watch pretty much anything out there that gives me an idea of what the game is. And what it's all about, which is one of the reasons that I do, and that's what I do on my channel. That's why I'm not doing a lot of reviews, a lot of things like that. I'd rather just play that game so that you can see what that game is and then decide for yourself. And I think that's one of the reasons I was really drawn to the way Colin did a lot of his stuff too. Colin did from the One Stop Co-op Shop, not Red Bean Dice, but he's awesome too. He was again one of the main reasons I started doing playthroughs. If you ever watch any of my playthroughs, you're gonna say, wait, did Colin change his voice? Because the way I even videotape, the way I edit, the way I do a lot of things, I really model a lot of things after what he does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I mean, of course, we all have our own little shticks, which is kind of fun. But so I don't know if that answered the question at all. Did it answer the question? Or did I just randomly
Maybe.
talk for a while?
I think also a lot of times with getting down into content creation on YouTube, and I can talk about this more, but a lot of times you kind of just start putting content out there, and in the process of seeing how it's received and what you enjoy, you do generally find an angle at some point. Like, why come to this channel? Why come watch me? What do I
Mm.
bring to the table that brings value to you? I'm not going to get into details here. We can have a separate discussion on that because I do want to focus on the other content creators. But that's a very interesting journey a lot of content creators go on. I don't know. I'm
Oh,
still
I
going on
see
that
what you're
journey
saying.
myself.
I think I kind of misunderstood what the question was. Not surprise, surprise. I misunderstood the question. I do it every time we do a top 20 or the 2021. So hidden gem. Yep, that was Etherfield.
Sorry, Ken Chingers cracked me up here. He says my content creator angle is as close as possible to Colin style, so which is an excellent style. I do agree on that one.
That's a good style to be close to. That's for sure. Um, I guess when it now they kind of understand what you're talking about. I would say that I mean it really I think it does go towards the game I'm gravitated to that I do enjoy. I mean, I'll go to like a lot of dungeon crawler co-op style games. You're not going to see me. I mean I used to watch like a lot of Warhammer videos when I was into Warhammer because I thought it was kind of cool to see battle reports and things like that. I don't watch those anymore because it's just not what I'm doing. So I think a lot of it is what you're doing, what you enjoy. You're going to find those creators.
Yep. Ryan had an interesting question, and this is going to be a perfect tie to one of them on the list. How about Twitch? Do you watch anyone on there? A couple occasionally from me. So let me tie that into one content creator I definitely like watching. He does primarily on Twitch, but he also posts the same videos on YouTube later. But that is Bageltop Games. So this guy is super nice, great guy. He does Marvel Legendary exclusive content. He's probably like the primary Marvel Legendary content creator out there for that community. But I want to mention him here because not only about the content, but his presentation style and how he engages the community is fantastic. Like, he's excellent at building up these systems and these tools. If you watch any of his live streams, like, he has it down to a T to like really make it easy to watch a Marvel Legendary play. Like, I would love to stream more Marvel Legendary, but I feel like I'm not doing it justice because he does such a great job at showing the game, and he has like all the little nuances of the details around where the game state is at that time. So really, really great guy. Does a lot for the community. Big fan of him on Twitch.
Twitch, huh?
Twitch and YouTube.
The
Yep.
one the one I would say that is one that's not that Steve does not have a slide for this. Is Twist Gaming.
Oh
Was
yes, Twitch
They're on
Gaming.
Twitch. That is where I found them, and I found them, of course, because of Kingdom Death. I think they played Kingdom Death more than any other human on the planet that is actually doing live videos of it.
Mm-hmm.
They and he again. I haven't had a chance to talk to these people or actually meet them, but I have been in contact with emails and instant messaging because if I ever had a game related question, I actually turned to them because I figure if anybody knows the rules of this game, it's going to be those guys.
Yeah.
They play Kingdom Death like it's going out of style. They've got a fun little presentation and they do a lot of neat little things. That was one of the big Twitch people that I watch. It's probably Twist Gaming. That was the number one.
For sure. Cool. So many people to talk about. I love this. It's so fun.
I know.
Okay. let's
We're
go.
trying to slide from because it's gonna keep popping up. I've already thought of two more that I know we didn't have in the slides.
I know. I know. There's so many I want to talk about. There's so many great.
But yeah, like we said, the good news is if we don't talk about Dave, of course, now they thought about these, we'll make sure to talk about them when it comes to sometime down the next couple of weeks or maybe a month from now, or we might touch on this topic again every time at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. We should do this more often for sure. Let me mention another local friend of ours, and this is one that's helping both of us out, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Mr.
Yes, this guy
Canje
is
Studios.
invaluable when it comes to resources. He has he's I'm if you didn't see my update, I'm planning to start doing some live content as well. And it was he who helped me buy a computer and stuff to help me get this started. And I've been asking him questions and picking his brain. He's phenomenal resource person, and on top of that, he's a super fun guy. He is really fun. He's really lovable. Am I allowed to say lovable? He's really fun. He just, I shouldn't call people lovable, but he just has a generally great attitude towards everything. I've never heard him really be down about anything. He's just always got this upbeat attitude about all things, which is pretty cool. And he only does live stuff, if I remember right. I don't think he really does any like actual VOD stuff. I think it's all live.
I think it's all live. I'm nearly positive. So
and it's pretty cool. And he does a lot of different things too. He'll do board games. He's actually doing a Gloomhaven campaign through. I actually watched it yesterday of the video game. And he plays that with with 3 other people, which
Yep.
is pretty awesome. So he's doing a lot of stuff. He's doing some great stuff. He's really doing a great job setting aside the time to be able to do this, and it's really neat to see how well that's working for him.
Absolutely, yeah. He's also kind of local to me, so I'm hoping some point we can do a face-to-face live stream together. So, yes,
Yes,
looking
he
forward
can
to
be
that.
like, you're calling to me.
Exactly, not quite as close. So you guys,
True, he's 15 minutes away.
that worked out well for you guys. Cool. So those are, let's see. So those are the ones I have planned listed up here. I know there's some others that are mentioned. So I do want to jump to those from our fans. I know. Let me switch my screen here. Paul Darcy was one that was mentioned. Hey, Jan,
Mhm.
welcome. Paul Darcy was one that Ken Changer mentioned as a YouTuber, and yeah, this I don't watch a ton of Paul Darcy stuff. Do you? But I have checked out content. Very very
Paul
good
Dard.
content.
Yes, he's also been around for a while.
Hmm.
If I'm thinking of the right person,
Yes.
he has been around for a while. He does a lot of fun things. He's a pretty witty guy too.
Uh
He's
huh.
pretty funny, and he does a really good job of playthroughs. And he does, again. I think if I remember, I kind of get him sometimes mixed up with Jay Plays, but if I remember right, though, he actually kind of sometimes goes out and does like games that really are not mainstream anymore and things like that. He actually does some fun
For
games that you
sure.
may not have heard of, which is pretty cool. But yes, Paul Darcy's a pretty cool guy. I know that. I've watched some of his stuff as well. I mean, like, again, I bet if we say it, like 32 of them, I'd probably
I
watch something of
know.
it,
I
just because
know.
I actually tried. I like to watch people's different takes on how they do a game too, which is another thing that really, I think, the reason I watch all these different people, because it's kind of cool to see like Colin do the game, but then, oh hey, here's another video by, let's say, Paul Darcy. I mean, I don't know what the games would be, but I'd be like, no, their styles are totally different, and the way they record them is totally different. So it's really fun to see another aspect of how the game is played, or what could transpire in a game, that is, or how a game is presented. It's kind of cool to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Another one that was mentioned, and this was a really good. He does excellent tutorials. Jon Gets Games.
Mm,
So a big
yep.
fan of his type of content. Very clean,
Yes,
very
he does a very
structured.
good
So
job.
you know what's coming
Oh
up.
yeah.
It's easy to jump around to different sections of his video. Very very good quality
Very
video.
professional stream, or very
Hmm.
professional work. He does very professional work. I also see
Hmm.
that, of course, one we have not mentioned yet, Ricky Royal, Box of Delights. Yes, another staple when it comes to like the community of bird gaming. He's another person that maybe should be in that ring of honor. He's been doing it for a long time, and he does been doing some great work. Again, probably the person to go to when you were learning Mage Knight. He's one of the people that started doing a lot of Mage Knight videos when that was kind of a big thing for a while.
For sure. Excellent. But yeah, so that was oh my gosh, that was a lot of content creators we went through. There's more we want to talk about too, and I do want to mention there's a lot of other content creators that I like watching that I didn't mention on here because they are geared towards helping content creators create the content. And like, well, how do
Mm,
you make these transitions? How do you set up a YouTube page? How do you engage with community? Stuff like that. I watch a lot of that content because I'm always looking to how can I improve and adjust and just provide a better experience for everyone is what I'm up to. So, but yeah, I
right.
could
We could go on forever, Steve. There's a lot of people. I mean, we've got. I could just keep going, man.
can't. But I did see a comment on here that people are like, "Wow, a lot of people I don't know about," which I'm happy to hear, honestly, because there's
Yeah,
so many great people doing content out there. I know there's everyone's familiar with the big ones, which we mentioned earlier, and a plenty of other really big channels. But there's some really nice content creators that are on the lower end of subscribers that do excellent work that should not be forgotten.
yeah. I mean, we're when it comes to people that maybe people don't know that I've seen and I've really enjoyed. There's a one called Meeple Marathon is a channel that's really awesome. That's Ryan. He actually helped design the GI Joe, the deck builder, the instruction booklet. He was talking to me about that, which was pretty cool. There's which is pretty awesome. If you're looking for more, again, live streaming stuff, I mean, there's Rob's gaming table, not Rob's tabletop world. Rob's gaming table. They're
Yep,
totally
yep.
two different things. He does a lot of live stuff. He's come a long way too. I've watched some of his stuff before, and now he's up to the point where, and now what he's doing now is just starting to get really professional stream work. It's absolutely really fun to watch. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. I tell you, there's like, if you're looking for Kingdom Death, there's Hit Points Gaming. They also did Madara. I mean, I could just keep going. There's
Yeah,
board game. board offline, board online. Dude, there's just so many. So this is why we need to be talking about this every week. We spotlight a creator, because I didn't like. If I remember right, if you look at the Board Game Geek page, they have like hey, spotlighting a content creator. We could maybe do our own spotlighting co-op creators, or like that would be something we could do every week. Is just like bring up another person. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's no mention. It's hard to expand other channels because there's not a lot. It means a lot to watch and not a lot of time for other stuff, which is very true. I usually turn on something, listen to someone while I'm doing something as well because it's just not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
So, but
True.
Jan
I mean, that's
mentioned
one of the things when I paint. That's a lot of things I do is I listen to somebody like explain, like it could be a game I'm interested in playing or want to know a little bit about. So I'd like hear how it's played, and I think that's again one of the reasons I was drawn to like the way Colin did is because he explained all the rules. I also listened to the rules videos and things, but just to get the ideas. But then when I want to watch the game, then yeah, I might do a different creator that's really engaging on how they play the game and things like that. I don't know if that made any sense, but
for sure.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's no mention self stories with Jason, which is a very different type of content, but also one I definitely recommend where he engages about these very, very sometimes tough topics, but very worthwhile, cultural issues when it comes around board game stuff. Like excellent resource for that stuff. I do recommend it.
He's a really cool guy too.
Actually, yeah, absolutely. We didn't listen to that stuff because he's part of One Stop, but since he's brought up, I'll mention.
Our goal was to get off the actual one-stop channel and let you guys see some other stuff around there. So that's why I didn't talk about Mike. I don't know if I talk about Mike because I don't like his playthroughs very much. So no, I'm totally.
Wait, who's
kidding.
this Mike guy?
Totally... that Mike guy? Or that Peter guy? Oh man,
Peter guy. Yeah, exactly.
World champions. Oh, kidding, of course.
But Jan had a good one here.
With you, Steve, last week. That was pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, that was fun. Jan mentioned that we're talking podcasts too, which we're not today, but that's a really good suggestion for like going through some podcasts to listen while you're. I listen to podcasts while I drive all the time for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You might want to find something different for that because believe it or not, when I listen to podcasts, I actually listen to video game podcasts more than I listen to board game podcasts.
Interesting.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot more board game podcasts. Now I listen to a lot of historical and educational stuff more. I want to learn about other things. So, but yeah,
I still don't have an Xbox Series X because you can't find them.
I know.
It was kind of a funny story coming about Christmas time. My wife goes, Bairnt, we haven't had. We should maybe think about getting that new Xbox. I'm like, technology. My wife wants to buy it. That's awesome. So I'm like, she's like, do you think you can probably get one for Christmas? I'm like, that's a funny story. No, I can't. She's like, really? It's been out for 2 years. I'm like, yep, nope, still can't get one. Unless you're like, if that's your like only goal in life is to find an Xbox, then you could probably find one. But I don't have time to dig around all over the place to look for them. They're just impossible to get right now.
Oh yeah, Snow mentioned we should do like Black Belt Games, some of the comedic ones. Oh, there's so many good comedic ones. We should do a one about that stuff too. That'd be a fun one. Cool, man. Okay, I feel like we go on longer. We got more people we got to talk to. We got to do this again. I'm convinced.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, we should almost have a creator spotlight. Like you do one week, I'll do one next week, and we just keep going back and forth every week now when we do our chats.
Yeah, it could be, and like maybe provide more detail on what they're doing and stuff. So that'd be kind of fun. That'd be fun to do.
Yeah. But Steve is going to be awesome, and since I don't have to do anything because all I have to do is to come in here and talk, he is going to put links to those in the description of this video, and you can go check all those out. So now he's got the next 15 minutes going to go to each one of these pages we talked about, find the link, put it in the chat or in the comments because I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
I just get out of chat.
Yep. Nope. I'll get that up for everyone. Let's see. Yeah. So that's all. End of the chat for today. Because I know we can keep going for sure. But let's see, upcoming work. So yeah, you Bairnt, you mentioned you're going to do live streams in the near future. So that's fun. What else you got coming on the channel?
My goal is up and running in February. That is my goal. I'm still doing. And if you want to know more about that, you can check out my live update, or not my live update. It definitely was not live. You can check out my update on my channel. I think I only rambled for 6 minutes, which is a record. Normally I ramble for a lot longer than that. These guys hear that. Other than that, I just got, for me, I'm doing that Streets game is coming because I'm pretty excited about that. My wife and I loved Villagers. For those of you that have never played Villagers, I recommend it. It's but of course I'm entering the realm of competitive games. But Streets and Villagers both have a solo mode, which is what I play on the channel. But We enjoy it. It's like if you notice the box, it's super small, so we like bring it on trips if we go on trips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small little box. Has everything you need right inside. There's no like weird things you need to bring along with you, which is kind of cool. So I'll be doing that one. And Steve or Colin gave me a game. Let's see here. What is it? I think it's still out there. Venom Assault. He said, if you did G.I. Joe, you got to do Venom Assault. I said, okay. And that was a lot of fun. Though I will say, if you're watching the video, be aware, I might make some math errors and some. The reason why is, Steve, I've never had a point in a game where I actually got overwhelmed by how much was on the board that I couldn't, like, because there's cards over here I had to deal with, cards over here I had to deal with. I had to play these cards, and these cards come out and I have to deal with these. So there's a lot going on in this game, which is pretty cool because there's a lot of different things that can happen to you. Yeah, but trying to maintain it as yourself, sometimes you get a little overwhelmed if you're trying to do like videos when you're by yourself. It should be like with two people. So it was, I was near the end. There's a point where I said like, or then this is going to probably do, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. And I'm probably making some math errors here.
Everyone's laughing because you're like, Bairnt never breathes, too much to talk about in too little time.
It's true, it's true.
Yes, we get so excited about stuff. Oh, BJJ Zombie mentioned, how do you like Venom Assault after playing G.I. Joe?
After I played it, I'm ready to play it again. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting because it can change on you, which is really fun for me. At one point, I was just kind of walking through the park on it, and all of a sudden, it got to a point where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this actually is becoming really difficult for me." And it was really fun to see that difficulty maintained itself as the game went forward, which was really cool.
Did you enjoy it more than G.I. Joe potentially?
They would both be in my collection.
Okay.
If that says anything.
Okay.
I think G.I. Joe is fun and easy to bring to the table than Venom Assault, but Venom Assault gives a lot more going on for it and a lot more things working on each other, which is kind of cool.
Cool.
They both have a dice system, which is pretty neat. I actually like the Venom Assault dice system better than the G.I. Joe dice system, but the G.I. Joe dice system works for what it is in that game. I shouldn't say more basic, but it's a less demanding like game to play, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a facelift for this channel as well. So someone who's in the chat actually has been helping out behind the scenes, Marcel, has been awesome, and so I'm hoping to get that done. I'm not sure if it's happen next week, but if it's not next week, it'll be the week after. So big old facelift change to the channel and improving the quality of it for sure. But that's coming up, and then continuing on with Creed, and I'm going to do some Marvel Legendary next week. So because the new set came out, so I'm going to cover that.
Nice.
Cool. That's enough stuff coming up. Yeah, thanks for joining, and we look forward to our chat next week.
Take care. It's good to see everybody.
Yep.
Thank you for being part of us. Thank you for making us go.
Yep. See everyone at the next stop. Bye-bye.